Project Me, you guys. Sometimes I like to wait a minute until I know I got some people on. I hope you're having a good Friday. Welcome, welcome. And I'm pretty sure we've got some new people too. And for those that are new to me, my name is Jenny Penton, and I'm the creator of Project Me and Planner Perfect. And welcome, I'm glad you're here. We have Project Me. I set up Project Me as a core class so that you can be all you can be and discover who you are. That way you can flow over to Planner Perfect and its method and use it to just dream and shoot for the stars. So that is why I created Project Me in the first place, because I think women need to get back to the basics, get back to the core. It's really hard to plan on a blank page when you don't even know who you are. You know what I mean? I think us as women, we have, in particular, have, hi you guys, have found our purpose in our roles. And that could not be further from the truth. Your role is not to be swept up. Your purpose isn't to be swept up in your role. When you do that, you will find, that's why so many women have planner, they don't have planner piece, they don't know where, you know, they switch out planners every, year, 40 times a year, who knows. But, you know, this whole planner system is designed so that you can think. And that was the biggest thing. That's why I created it. Hey, Ellie, it's so that women can think. Because without thinking for yourself and knowing what you want, you can't have it. You can only get what you see yourself doing and envisioning that kind of life. And if you're so swept up in being, let's say your role then is mother, since I am a homeschooling mom of 8, if you're so swept up in that, let's say I'm swept up in that role, everything that I'm doing then is focused just on my role. So it'd be cleaning and serving and loving and diapers and fun meals and all of that. That role is stellar. You can't beat a stay-at-home mom, a mother, ever. I mean, come on. But if that's all you identify yourself with is just your children's mother, then you're doing yourself a disservice, your family a disservice, and the world a disservice, because you have an assignment. You yourself have an assignment. And once you know it, you get invigorated and you're excited and you're happy to get out of bed and you have so much to do and ideas start to flood in and you can't wait to conquer them and your motherhood gets elevated and now you're a better wife, you're a better mother and everything else because you're taking care of you and you know who you are and you know what your talents are and you're going for it. That's what's so amazing about Project Me, because really it's this great group of women that we've got. I just love all you guys. You've been such a great support to everyone here, and we need this, you know? We need that kind of support. We need the prayers when we need them. We need just to rally around that person who needs that help as we're just really learning to discover, and particularly, who we are, what our purpose is, and where we're headed. So today I am going to take your questions. So first I'm going to go through some things I wanted to inspire you with. And then we'll go ahead and, okay, God, we're going to go ahead and hope to God that Blaine lets us have Q&A at the end, okay? Because right now he's asleep. So I got to be quiet. Right? I got to be quiet because he's going to go hammer down my door. So anyways, I have found that when I plan this way, and I've been planning this way for 20 years, that I have goals and I have dreams and I'm invigorated and I use my talents. Now I've slowly developed it because I kept trying to discover it. Because with your purpose, it's not that you just, oh, I now know it. You kind of discover it. And that's exciting. As long as you know that you're more than your children's mother or whatever role you play, then now you're already cooking. You're already in the groove. You're headed in the right direction. And now it's discovery time. But then there's also taking care of ourselves as well and elevating our motherhood. Sometimes I think because we just focus on our role, we're so exhausted by it that there's no time for anything else. So I like to pull women back, take it easy. Let's not be so busy. It gets so swept up in all these activities and identify ourselves with our kids' soccer games and such. Let's start to clean our house. We talked about everything we do should be beautiful. So, purging out, just with personally purging out old underwear and bras and just buying new for us. Purging old makeup that's been sitting in a drawer for 5 years that we never even touched. It's probably crusty and nasty anyway, but it still sits in there, right? It's cleaning it out and it's beautiful. So when you wake up in the morning, you have something beautiful to see. It's having only beautiful coffee mugs in your coffee station area that you love. If there's a plastic ugly thing, then pitch it. I mean, just get rid of all the ugly that you've just tend to have accumulated over all these years, and yeah, you're not going to just wake up and know your purpose or your dream or like that, because number one, now that you know that you don't, as a side note here, because I saw what Heather just said, once you know that you're more than your child's mother, now you can start thinking about you. And when you think about you and plan for you in your planner and in your goal section, and what you do is you start to visualize out. Now we're going to talk about that in a second. We're going to start to envision things and get ideas. And so hold on about that. And we just kind of discover it. And it's really fun discovery, because there's lots of fun little things you'll trip on along the way. So nothing is just like, bam, there it is. I think when you start early enough, though, you really can identify it early. That's why this is very, very important. You can teach it to your children. Because I homeschool my kids, and actually by doing that, I did that because primarily I did not want to tell them what to think or what to do. I wanted them to be able to tell me what they want to learn, see, and do, and then I educate them around that focus. That way they're thinking, they're soaking it in, and they'll say to me, hey, you know what, Mom, I think I want to learn cursive now. Hey, I don't know this. I want to know it. See, that's your mind working. When you completely tell them what to think and do every day, then they just do as they're told. We need to teach them how to think, because ultimately we fail. And this is why we do things we know how to do better, but we never do. Do you know what I'm saying here? As adults, we know to do better. We know how to do better, but we don't. And it's because our conscious mind has it all in there, but our subconscious mind tells another story. So we can't act on it, because subconsciously we have a paradigm that tells us that we can't do what we think we should do. And so we're going to touch on that a little bit too. So that's why I teach my children that way. I want them to know early, and from my older ones, I see the fruits of it. My oldest has always loved horses, and so everything we did focused around it. I just let her lead, and so everything could, whether it be baking for learning some math and all that, but horses was her main thing. So everything focused around it. She had more time to focus on horses. Everything she was able to, she was like an interning type of thing with a horse barn for all of her teen life. So she knew the world of horses. And so now she's 23 and owns 4 horses and owns a very successful business training people to ride and training horses, and buys and sells horses as a way to earn money. She's good at it. So, and I'm not saying you have to unschool, homeschool, in order for your kids to think. But you can do that at home too, is just teaching them that. I'm not saying that. But that's my primary reason why I kind of went that way. And so that was great. My son Taylor, as you know too, an amazing artist. And once he was able to allow the freedom to explore what he wanted to know and learn, it then gave him an imagination and the time to explore. So he found out that, hey, my mom's painting, I'm going to try that. Found out, hey, I really like this, and went for it and spent a lot of time devoted to it. I didn't stop him and say, hey, you better know your algebra. I didn't. I let him go. So he has been able to develop what he's good at. So kind of like that with us, we want to be able to know how to think. We want to, and that's why I love plain white paper, because you can script and explore yourself. You can, what do I love, you know? I mean, we just put ourselves on the back burner. So we're done with that. So surround yourself with beauty. That's the first step in just Project Me and taking care of ourselves. Surround yourself with beauty. Begin to understand that your role is not your purpose. And see, Ellie, totally, right? You want to be their influence. You really do. Hey, Pam, you're out and about, huh? So, anyway, you know, that whole paradigm thing is really, really, really interesting, isn't it? And did you know that your subconscious mind can't reject anything that gets in? So you're going to want to make sure, that's why we talk about this, is that when things come at you, you need to assess it before you let it absorb. Because once it sinks into the subconscious mind, then after repeatedly those things kind of happen, it becomes your paradigm. So if people have ever said you're fat and ugly, okay, I'm just throwing something out, pretty soon your self-esteem is totally tanked because you've allowed that to go in through the conscious mind. Someone said it, and then you've soaked it up. And so that is now what you believe. That's kind of like you covered your core with that. You kind of touched it on your authentic self. Fat and ugly. Yeah, so now you don't have a self-esteem. And I remember my mom, bless her heart, she would try to get me to change on the physical end. But I remember when I was little, I would get told I was ugly and fat. And I remember I wouldn't want to wear a swimsuit. I didn't want to go swimming. I was kind of slouched when I didn't want to miss school, because if I missed school, I might have been made fun of when I wasn't there. At least I wanted to be there if they were going to make fun of me or something. It was so bad. And so I remember my mom saying, okay, I'm noticing that you are slouched. I'm going to make you put books on your head and walk. And that was really great and all, but that never really got to the core problem. Or if she saw me not very confident as a girl, younger girl in a swimsuit, she's like, I'm gonna have you go jump off the diving board because that's gonna make you confident. And no, that didn't make me confident. I just got out of the water and grabbed a quick towel, okay? So what we really need to do is figure out what we've got going on in that subconscious mind. And even though there might be a lot in there, what we can do is program our mind, reprogram it with everything that we know to be true about us. And then when we receive it, so we believe it. And that is true, Ellie. So you got to make sure that what goes into your brain, that either it's acceptable or it's not. And that's very, very important. That way you don't develop these false truths about yourself in your subconscious mind, because that's why we can't seem to be able to ever do anything that we know better of. You know, it's like, man, I know I can do this, but I just never will. I can't. Is because you have a false belief going on, and your body won't act out on something that it truly believes. So that's something very important in Project Me to know and to dive into and comprehend, because if you really want to shoot for the stars and be a visionary for your life, you have to understand the mind and what's coming at you, so that you can be all you can be. Hey, Diane. You got to pray for discernment. Sometimes it's pretty easy. Sometimes it's not. I mean, it can be manipulation coming at you, and you have to really discern it. Getting into the Word is a great way to find out if it's false truth. So those kind of things can be something that you need to be able to discern before it gets into that subconscious mind. Let's see. I had something here. And I hope you guys have some questions for me, because that will be kind of fun to do. Let's see here. Oh, you know what I heard this morning from this one great pastor that I listened to? He said, God never intends for you to be a nobody. Oh, is that amazing? I mean, listen to that. God never intended anybody to be a nobody. He never intended for you to not have wealth, talent, skills, ownership, and influence. See all that you guys are capable of? You're capable of so much, and I don't feel that we're doing it. I feel like we're just kind of taking the back seat for the good of the group, and you know, writing in our calendar squares. We need to dream again and get ideas. God is like, he gives us everything we need. When we're saved believers, we have the blessing on us, and when we have that, and we understand that, we have true knowledge of that, then we can rest in that and know that he's got us. And that's why we want to make sure that we're not connected. We want to make sure that we're in check and not sinning and things like that, so that we can stay activated in that blessing and things. So it's just a constant daily check-in and devotions. And that's what these devotion books are really great for too. And he wants us to be blessed above all people. That's what marks us as being believers, and that's how we bring people into being believers. I mean, by being noticed, you know. And so make sure that you, it really is. We're each custom made, that is for sure. Of course, I had something all marked out, and I'm having a hard time finding it. In my Ren, that is totally packed. But it was about the paradigms. Hope I can find it. Okay, here we go. Also, too, your results tell the truth. So it's kind of like, you know, your body, your health, your bank account. That is the result of your paradigm. Think about that for a second. Where you're at right now is the result of what you believe. So that's something to really, really think about. Hey, Deb. Yeah, so you're going to want to really take note of those things, you know, and we can change that. And it's more like throughout the day, confessing what we want, not what we don't want. And we've talked about that before. That's the importance of it. And that's how we can reprogram our belief system. And that's what's going to make the paradigm shift. And then that's going to mean it's all just going to come easy. Everything we've envisioned, everything that we want just comes to us. It's kind of like, it's really funny. My boys, two of my boys, love Camaros right now, okay? And so now everywhere we go, there's a freaking Camaro. They're like, check it out. Oh my gosh, it's a Camaro. I go, you know why that's so? Because it's on your mind. You're envisioning Camaros. You sleep Camaros. So now you always see, I don't see Camaros. Like, I don't see them at all. They do. They're like, holy cow, you know. So think about that. Whatever you believe and think about will come to pass. Really, really easy. Opportunities, ideas, resources. So that's why it's so important to have the right thoughts, the right belief system, and keep it in check. We don't want to be Yosemite Sammers. We talked about that. Sometimes there's a time when you need to really vent, okay? You can do that in the privacy of your room, like Yosemite Sam. We saw this one where, I think it was Aaron and I, where it was really great, where there's an image of him like shooting his guns and it lifted him up and his body up in the air. It's really funny. But anyway, you're gonna wanna make sure that you make sure that you know what is going into your mind, and because it's right there already. So everything that we could ever need, whatever we ever need in this world to have a blessed, abundant life is already been done. When Christ died on the cross, he said it's finished, it's done. Everything we need is already available. The only thing that's stopping it from being activated is us flipping on the switch, kind of like the electricity. The electricity is already there. We just have to flip the switch, you know. We don't call up and say, hey, can you turn the lights on? It's up to us to do it. Same thing with the blessing that God gives us. I mean, we've got to be aware of it first off. Then we have to say, oh, flip, I'll receive it. Okay, so that's how you call forth those promises. It's already done. Everything you need is here. Resources, everything you could ever need for the dreams that you have. That's all here. You don't have to work hard for it. It's going to come because you have an assignment to do. You know, you have an assignment to do. So anyway, in between, well, let's stop that for just a second. So we do have a choice when we hear something or what's going on to either accept it or reject it, okay? And we do have the emotional mind, the subconscious mind, and it has no ability to reject. None. So it's just going to take it. If you allow it, it's going to take it. And thinking, you know what, is a skill. It really, really is. Thinking is a skill. That's why I'm trying to embed it into my children in their everyday. It's a skill. Did you know my Gabe, my 16-year-old, he learned how to read by reading road signs. Never opened a phonics book, girls. Never. He refused. He said, he's not a book. He doesn't like to be taught by a book. He likes real live situations. So he literally read from, and he's so smart. I'm like, wow, man, you're like a walking encyclopedia. He's like, yeah, because I look it up. He just loves looking things up, and that's just kind of how he is. He's like, oh, Mom, that says stop. That's stop? You know, and so we would do that all day. We'd drive, and it's just an everyday life, and no electric. So anyway, my point in that, just that he's thinking. That's what you want. It's a skill. Okay, it's a skill. You know why I put white paper in our books, girls? And I made them beautiful for you so you can feel beautiful. And then I put blank insides so that you can think. It's a skill. If you can envision out your life and script it on paper, listen to this. This is really great information. Everything that goes into, listen, this is how basically our base of our paradigm starts, and that's when we're babies up until 7 years old, because we basically don't have that conscious mind developed yet. Hey, Kim. And everything goes into that mind from our parents. The good and the bad, genetically, everything goes into that mind. That's how we were made. And a lot of times we just carry on with that paradigm, not thinking or checking into that to see why it is. Now, I know I did that. I was like, well, that's how I was raised, so this is what you do, you know? And a lot of it was not beneficial to my life, okay? And so we need to check and make sure that what we're doing and why we're behaving, we know why we're doing it. That's the first thing we need to do. Your self-image goes in there when you're little. Now, let's see, we don't know anything different than, you know, we just take, that's our paradigm, because in school also never teaches us about paradigms either. They're just filling us in our conscious minds full of knowledge. But see, our subconscious mind doesn't know what to do or how to act. So that's why, you know, a lot of us don't really go anywhere. We're just kind of like, well, I know a lot, you know. That's why some people that drop out of high school, all billionaires, I mean, think about that. It has to do with your mind, not how much you know per se, as much as your mind and where you think you're going to go and what you believe and who you are. That's what matters most. In absence of clearly defined goals, this just confirmed my whole method, we become strangely loyal to performing daily trivia until we've become enslaved by it. So that's why, and I've always just done this because I just knew I got things done this way. Now it just confirms that this is why it did. But that's why I teach you guys to be very, very detailed in what your goals are, because you need to know where you're going. You need a roadmap. And if you have no map at all, then you're just being enslaved by the daily trivia of life. You're not going anywhere. You're floating. You're reacting, and you're floating along. Okay? So that's something that we really needed to do. Let's see. Superior knowledge, inferior results causes confusion and frustration. So as you can imagine how that is too, that we get this knowledge and then we have inferior results from all this school. And so then it causes confusion and frustration. I learned this from Bob Proctor. I really respect him. I like him a lot. And he talks about paradigms. Look him up. You'll never be the same. I like him a lot. I just think it confirms everything about how I live and plan. And he really breaks apart the mind. And that's where I learned this. And it's really kind of amazing. Yeah. Oh, isn't it the truth, Karen? Yeah, you know, boy, a lot of I mean, mothers everywhere, that's all they live off of is appointments and what they got to do. I mean, I have 8 kids, and let me tell you what that wake-up call was like when in the beginning, when that's all I did. I was just a mom. That was my role and my purpose. When that was the case, I was like, then here I feel like I'm raising another set of 4. I was like, is there more to life than this? Because I'm really, really bored. I was like, seriously? And that's when that whole thing for me was, and I felt it way in my 20s, but God kept nudging me, but I didn't really totally get it. I don't know how long ago, I really don't, but it was when I saw my son Taylor painting, and I knew I was good at painting. I've always known it since I was little, and I picked it back up again because I thought it was supposed to go in the back seat because I was a mom. I didn't have time for that. But then once I started picking it up and found out that I love, you know, teaching women, and I love painting, that passion and that talent just kind of come together in it, and it's really, really explosive. And I implore you to do the same. These books give you the room and the prompts to be able to discover your purpose and what you love and what you can offer to this world. We all have something unique to give, and you will just be blessed by it, and you'll be blessing others. Oh man, so don't hold back. Find out who you are, because people are missing out not knowing your gifts and talents too. It's not just hurting you, it's hurting the world, and we need to use these for the world. I mean, to serve the world. So really think about that. It's something that, you know, if you just keep to your bubble and your kids and just being a mom and shuffling off your kids while you're nothing, that's not great. That's not a good service. So we've been conditioned and programmed by our lifestyle around us, basically. When we were little, so we've kind of been programmed by that environment. So you can imagine how that could be a negative sometimes. Sometimes it's a great positive, but a lot of times it can have a lot of negative in it that doesn't benefit us at all. Let's see, you don't have to be smart or have a formal education to make a lot of money. Think about that for a second. That's good news for us moms that never just had kids right away, right? Woohoo! So, you know, you don't have to think that, oh, I have to have that formal education or I can't make a move. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. Change your habits, and then and our behavior will follow. Once you change that, the mindset and all that, then our behavior will follow. So let's see. So change your paradigm, change your life. You need to know yourself, doing things that you don't want to do, getting results that they don't want to get. I'm just kind of going over these notes. So what we want to really do, though, is reprogram it. So what I like to do in the back of my Ren here is really, if it's repeated enough times what you want, you change the paradigm, okay? Because all a paradigm is constant repetition of, it's a habitual thing that you have said enough, repeated enough times in your mind to have created a habit. That's all that is. So, whoa, oh, that scared me to death. I think that's my baby. It is. Oh, it scared me to death. So, let's see, for 30 days, guys, is when you do change these habits of saying what you envision for yourself. Then ultimately, he's going to go find an axe somewhere, I swear. And you can change your paradigm, and you can shoot for the star. You can be what I dream. I'm going to say this real quick before I go, because guess what? I can't do the questions and answers, but I can come back on some other time. But you know what's really, really poignant too is that, oh, for now I forgot what I was going to say, is that, I think my daughter grabbed him, but, is that I love to envision myself. I'll envision myself in the future. I can totally see it. I'll envision. You want to be a visioneer for your life. It's called visioneering. So envision, before I let you go, Blaine, buddy, no doubt, you can envision yourself. How do you see yourself in a year? What do you look like? What are you doing? I mean, I have so many ideas of how I see myself. I want that to be you too. What do you see yourself doing? Hopefully it's not the same thing. Okay, so be a visioneer for your life. We're now visioneers. Okay, by the way, BTW, we are visioneers. Okay, we're women who are visioneers, and we can see ourselves in doing something amazing and so big, we don't even know how it would be humanly possible that we could ever even do it. Because guess what? We're not going to. God's going to do it for us. So we've got to dream really big. Don't let, oh, I could never do that. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. No, no, no. Just dream really huge. Like going off of what you already love. Dream really huge. Dream how your body's going to look, your hair, your nails. What if you always said, I always have a problem with like biting my skin on my nails, remember? I even have dreams, I'll envision like, wow, my nails are long and I never bite the skin around my nails. I mean, just dream about it and repeat it and say it, and then your behavior follows. That's what's so fun. So that's what we're working on right now, is being visioneers. We're going to be visionaries for our own lives. That's why Planner Perfect was birthed, so that we can think and we can be visionaries for our lives and improve the world, be better mothers, teach our children the same so they think. Because look we raise our children. You know how much power we have, girls? Here comes my son. We have so much power. If we have this knowledge, we can change the next generation. That's how spooky, crazy good this information is. Because if we can change ourselves, and if we know this, then we can change the course of how the world goes. We're world changers, guys. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna go. We had a good time. We can do more questions and answers on the next Friday. That's no big deal. Actually, I can do it next Friday, and you guys can come up with some questions for me. It'll give you enough time to think of what the questions you've got for me. So anyway, girls, I will talk to you soon.